Coming up on today's episode of Airborne-Unlimited, 50-year lease keeps Dillingham Airfield open. Oklahoma former Senator and pilot Jim Inhofe has gone west. Boeing accepts plea deal to avoid trial. Welcome to Airborne Unlimited. I'm your host, Holland Lee. Let's get into today's stories. 50-year lease keeps Dillingham Airfield open. A 50-year lease was signed on Friday, July 5th by U.S. Army Garrison Hawai'i Commander Col Steve McGunegle, Hawai'i Governor Josh Green, MD, and the Hawaiian Department of Transportation Director Ed Sniffen for Dillingham Airfield. The agreement, announced in a joint presser in the state capitol's ceremonial room, represents a noteworthy milestone for the state's aviation infrastructure and the North Shore community. Since 2020, the general aviation field had been under threat of the state's intent to terminate the existing lease due to legal, ownership, and other issues. However, the shiny new lease means that Dillingham will continue to operate under a joint use agreement and remain available for civilian and military flight training, skydiving, and more. In addition to solving the legal challenges, the lease also now makes the airport eligible for FAA grant funding assistance to support infrastructure improvements, a critical issue that was previously prohibited. Negotiations over the fate of the airfield began more than a decade ago, but Colonel McGunegle's leadership added momentum to the process, along with the collaborative efforts of community stakeholders and local legislators. After the break, Tennessee law permanently allows warrantless drone use by police.
I'm currently using the Hartzell Talon, by far the best aerobatic propeller ever come out.
I use the Trailblazer. It adds performance to the Super Decathlon and dependability, and it's rugged.
Hartzell's been an excellent partner for Whip Air, just in terms of your product support as well as keeping an eye on the market and developing new products that meet demand.
It's helping us all have better performing airplanes.
It's such a proud honor to fly behind that propeller.
For over 30 years, the massive Sport Plane Resource Guide has provided expert, credible information, evaluations, and critical analysis of all that the sport aviation world has to offer. The all-new digital Sport Plane Resource Guide is coming with extensive multimedia features that are constantly updated, an even more comprehensive online guide to all things sport aviation. Available soon. www.sportplane.com.
Welcome back. Now let's take a trip around the patch for some shorter stories. Tennessee law permanently allows warrantless drone use by police. Police departments around the country have used drones for several years, and in many cases a court warrant is required. However, there are specific circumstances when they may not be. Tennessee's new law does not make any operational changes to the existing law, but simply makes permanent the ability for law enforcement to use drones without a warrant in certain investigations. Police will still be required to obtain court-ordered warrants for the same situations as they currently are. PHI Aviation takes delivery of first Airbus H-160. The first of 4 Airbus H-160 model helicopters has been delivered to PHI Aviation in Lafayette, Louisiana. This is the initial bracket of the aircraft for PHI, with more to follow, and also represents the first H-160 to enter service in the U.S. Airbus Helicopters and PHI entered into a partnership in 2021 to launch the H-160 in the U.S., and the helicopter received FAA certification in June 2023. PHI will operate them for offshore transportation in the Gulf of Mexico. Change of command at Naval Test Pilot School. In an in-flight change of command ceremony, U.S. Naval Academy graduate Commander Travis Hartman took over command of the U.S. Naval Test Pilot School from Lieutenant Colonel Aaron Kia at Naval Air Station Patuxent River on June 26. During the airborne exchange, Kia initially led the formation flight in a C-12 Heron, with Hartman on his wing flying an FA-18 Super Hornet. The change of command occurred when Hartman's Super Hornet took over the lead ahead of Kia's C-12, signifying the change in leadership before landing. Bush Presidential Library and Museum receives retired Marine One. A demilitarized, restored, and retired Sikorsky VH-3D Marine One helicopter was inducted into the George H.W. Bush Presidential Library and Museum on the campus of Texas A&M University in College Station, Texas, June 2024. The library and museum held a grand opening for the new pavilion that houses the helicopter. Bush family members, donors, supporters, and members of the Presidential Helicopters Program Office attended the event. That's it for today's Tripper on the Patch. Let's get back to the rest of the news. Oklahoma former Senator and pilot Jim Inhofe has gone west. James Mountain Inhofe, a Republican retired senator from Oklahoma, has died at the age of 89 after suffering a stroke on July 4th. He had retired from the Senate in 2023 because of his health and had 4 years left in his term. He was Oklahoma's longest-serving senator who served as chairman of both the Armed Services and the Environment and Public Works Committees. He was a partisan iconoclast who nonetheless was able to reach across the aisle on certain issues such as military policy and infrastructure. He was one of the most conservative members of Congress, particularly on energy, defense, and the environment, and he strongly opposed regulatory overreach on those issues. Despite his strong views, he was considered an affable guy who developed genuine friendships with some who might have been his most strenuous opponents. Notably, when he was ranking member of the Armed Services Committee, he had a deep friendship with his Democrat colleague, Senator Jack Reed of Rhode Island, who, like Inhofe, is an Army veteran and is now the committee's current chairman. He was a pilot for about 50 years, and his passion for it influenced his work in Congress by introducing aviation legislation. In 2012, just before his 78th birthday, he bought an aerobatic plane and loved flying it. After these messages, Boeing accepts plea deal to avoid trial.
Well, hello, fellow pilot. I'm John King.
And I'm Martha King.
You know, we've all had our flying lives disrupted lately.
Well, King Schools is here to help you stay up to date with courses that you can access on your desktop, iPad, or iPhone. If you'd like a refresher or just want to expand your aviation horizons, we have a course for you.
So head over to kingschools.com/Rusty today for details.
Welcome back. Boeing accepts plea deal to avoid trial. Aircraft manufacturer Boeing avoided a messy trial and potentially much higher financial penalties by pleading guilty to a charge of conspiracy to defraud the federal government via the FAA. The offense is a felony and grew out of 2 plane crashes in 2018 and 2019 involving its 737 MAX commercial jetliner operated by Indonesian airline Lion Air and Ethiopian Airlines. The agreement requires Boeing to pay a fine of $243.6 million and spend at least $455 million in the next 3 years to strengthen its safety and compliance programs. An independent monitor to track progress and compliance will be appointed and will file annual reports. During that time, Boeing will be on probation. Relatives of the 346 victims who died in the crashes are not happy with the plea agreement, and through their attorneys are urging the judge overseeing the case, Judge Reed O'Connor, to reject the deal. A further requirement imposed by the deal is that Boeing's board of directors will have to meet with the families. The guilty plea may threaten the company's ability to obtain government contracts through the Department of Defense and NASA. Such deals are lucrative, but the company could seek waivers. And that's our show for today. You can catch episodes of Airborne on YouTube, Roku, or Fire TV. Just search for Aero-News or Airborne, and don't forget to follow us on social media. Thanks for watching.